Like kind of a new era, a new start for this program, even for guys who've been in it for such a long time?
It's just kind of a new start for us, just because there's a lot of new excitement with Coach Harsin coming in. And, he's a hometown guy, and so I think the community's really building off that. And even for an old guy like me, it feels like it's a new start for everybody.
When he came in here, addressed the team the first time, and obviously you knew him a little bit before, what was your impression? What did you take from that meeting?
There was a lot of excitement from the other guys. I knew Coach Harsin when I was first here, so it was kind of an easy transition for me. But for the younger guys to get that excitement back, it was a big deal for him to come in that first meeting and get that back.
How has what's happened the last 8 months meshed with what he told you would happen way back in December?
Well, everything he said in that first meeting, he's delivered on. He's brought that excitement back. He's brought that that kind of that swagger that Boise State used to have. We're trying to get that back, and he's really made that a point of emphasis, and I think he's done that so far.
How or why did that disappear?
I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question to answer. Who knows, really? But we did kind of lose that swagger, and I think with the coaching change, we realized we need to get that back.
This would be your guys' first game with Mike Sanford calling the plays. Do you get enough in practice and scrimmages to have a feel for what he's going to do and when he's going to call stuff, or are you kind of curious yourself to see how it plays out? Or
yeah, for the most part, you kind of get a feel for him in the scrimmages and practices, but game situations are a lot different. But for the most part, I think we have a pretty good feel of what he wants to do, X's and O's wise.
What kind of opportunity is this for you guys, the national stage Thursday night, to go down there and show that the swagger is back and you guys are back?
Well, that's a huge opportunity, and we're fully aware of that. A national television game and in front of a good crowd in Georgia, and a great environment too. Some of the older guys have been there, experienced it, and some of the younger guys are excited to go get that too.
Yeah, I know you were talking media days, but that dome's got a special place for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my first collegiate game, and I'm excited to start off my senior season there too.
Does it seem like it's going by quick? Your first game there, now senior year, all of a sudden you're back there. Talk about that.
It just seems like yesterday that we were there playing against Georgia. So yeah, college goes by really fast, and it's been a fun ride, but I'm looking forward to the senior season too.
Being in the program for a few years and you look back at that, your first catch, what did it mean for your first catch to be a touchdown from a guy like Kellen Moore, as well as the winningest quarterback in NCAA history?
Yeah, it really hasn't set in yet still. It's going to be a special moment I'll have for the rest of my life. I'll tell my kids, and hopefully they'll tell their kids about it. So it's something that's going to be really special to me for the rest of my life, but it's something that I don't really think about too often.
When you lined up for that play, did you have a feeling that the ball might come to you on it?
No, that was one of the plays that we repped all week of practice, and it never even went my way the entire time. So it was actually a surprise that I got the ball.
Yep. Your emotion after that play, that might be the most emotion that we've seen you show in your 5 years at Boise State.
Yeah, I got made fun of the other day about that, but yeah, I don't know what got control of me on that one, but I was pretty excited.
When was the last time you've watched that game or gone back and seen highlights from that game?
The Sunday after we came back from it.
You guys have done this before. You did it to Atlanta, but what do you have to do mentally, physically to get your body ready for a trip like this, going all the way across the country, 4 or 5 hour plane ride, all that kind of stuff?
I think you just have to stay relaxed. We call it relaxed focused. You can be focused, but you don't have to be on top of your game the entire time, because such as a long plane ride, and you have to stay hydrated. That's a big key. You lose a lot of hydration on those long plane rides. So just for the younger guys to stay relaxed, have a little fun, and just kind of go with the flow of things. And then when it's time for game time, start getting that focused.
What are you seeing from their defense?
They're an SEC defense. They're fast, physical, and they do their jobs well. If we're not on top of our games, that's going to be a long day for us.
That safety, what are you seeing out of him?
He's a stud. He's somebody who's going to have to keep an eye on the entire game and know where he's at.
You've been so prolific in the old offense, or whatever offense you guys have run. How do you think your role is going to change? Is it going to change at all this year?
I don't know if my role is going to change. Like I always tell you guys, if I catch 0 balls, I'll be happy if we win the game, or if I catch 10 and we win the game, I'll be happy. But I think it's going to be a fun offense to play in. We're going to have a little bit of everything. A lot of different styles of offense thrown into one, so it's going to be fun to be playing in it.
Is that different than last year, obviously?
It's a little bit different. We kind of have some old flavor into it and some stuff from last year that we liked that we kept going on. So, it's kind of the best of both worlds in my opinion.
What was your reaction when you got handed the new playbook?
For me, it wasn't too bad, because a lot of the stuff I've been, I've been shown to before, either through 4 years ago or last year, or even watching other college games, even watching Arkansas State last year, following Coach Harsin. So you kind of got a good feel for it, and it wasn't a big surprise for me when I got it.
With one player we talked to, also Shane Williams-Rhodes, he said, whether catch total or whatever, he says that he might not get as many as last year, but he did say that if he can become a more traditional route runner, it could help other receivers like you and whoever else is out there. How will that benefit you guys potentially with him, evolving?
Yeah, I think it'll help us all. I mean, I think sometimes last year Shane just got kind of caught up in the bubble game, the screen game, but now he's more two-dimensional where he can run, those 15-yard routes, those 25-yard routes, so people can't just, crowd the box and expect that bubble screen for him. So I think it's really going to help everybody out.
Big battle during camp for the number 3 receiver spot. What did you see from those guys, and how confident are you that whoever gets rotated in there is going to produce?
Well, I think those guys really competing their butts off. Troy Ware and Dallas Burrows, I think they had a good camp, and I'm really excited to see both of them play this year.
What aspects of your game are you better at now than maybe you were this time last year?
I think my route running is really improved, and I think that has, give all the credit to Coach Adams come in. He's just a route technician, and, for the first day he stepped on campus, my route running has been improved.
Doing a story on Jay, and he talked about it a couple weeks ago about the troubles he went through as a freshman, and said one of the big things he had to regain the trust of the players on this team, his teammates. And how did you see him kind of go about that and get through that situation?
I think Jay's really matured since the first day he stepped on campus too, and I think he did build that trust back. And it takes a long time to build some of that trust, and he's done a really good job of doing the right things on and off the field. Just over time, that builds that trust.
What does a guy have to do? I mean, is it just day in, day out? Is that what gets it
just
back?
Being consistent, doing the right thing on and off the field, being kind of a team leader, whether it be vocal or just in the locker room talking to guys, and Jay's done that.
And you look at what he's become now, 3 years later, pretty big transformation.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, he's really matured a lot, and obviously he's been a heck of a football player for us.
What's he mean to you guys offensively? To have somebody back there that can carry the load the way he does.
Well, he makes my job a lot easier. When people have to worry about him all the time, it kind of opens things up for me. So he's a huge part of our offense, and we're going to have to rely on him a lot this year to get the job done.
I know you guys made turnovers a priority, limiting turnovers. How's that gone through camp, and do you feel the team's going to be able to hold on to the ball?
I think we did a pretty good job in camp. You can always get better at it. It's one of those things that you can always improve on. But we work on our ball security almost every day with those circuits, and I think like I said, it's a point of emphasis for us. And I think we did a pretty good job. If we can keep doing that, it's going to be working out pretty good for the Broncos.
How have those sleeves helping you when they put them on the balls? Is it hard to hold on to those balls when they're slick like that?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, it makes it tougher just because they're slick, and you get those wet gloves on them too, so it makes them even more slippery. So I think that kind of really helps you focus on the details of carrying the ball.
That's for sure. You've done that, or no?
You mentioned Junior Adams, Coach Adams. What has he done to sort of improve that route running? I mean, how has he taught you maybe in a different way than you've been taught in the past?
Just kind of talking through it. And it's only been a few years since he's been out of the game playing. So he's really a player's coach. He knows what we're going through, and just talking through things. You're not telling me what to do, but kind of talking about it, just throwing ideas off each other has really helped.
You guys are going to the College Football Hall of Fame on Wednesday. You looking for something in particular while you're there?
No, not really. I don't really know too much about it, but I'm excited to go see what it's all about.
You've gone up against this defense in practice. How different is this defense going to be, this year maybe compared to what we saw last year?
Yeah, I think they're really swarming to the ball really well. They did that really well all through camp, and I think they kind of have that defensive tenacity like we used to have. And I think Coach Yates kind of brought that mentality back. So I'm excited to see them fly around like they have been all throughout camp.
Last year when you guys kind of went through that offensive change, a lot of you described the playbook or whatnot as just being easier. Compare that, what that kind of means to what you're doing now, maybe.
I think this playbook's a lot more complicated. Last year, the schemes and the terminology were pretty simple. This year it's more complex, more thinking involved, but in return, the benefits will probably be a little bit better. Just by, we can check more plays or just do more stuff off of just the base simple plays.
Seeing the results of, again, the return of the old offense or the new offense or whatever you want to call it, is it easy to buy in considering you've seen the results and what it's done in the past?
I think so. I think for the younger guys it is too, because, they grew up watching Boise State and, all the points that they used to score back in the days. So I think it's really easy to buy in this playbook because, the results have been shown in the past.
Does it require more time on the player's part to get to know this playbook?
Oh yeah, I think so. Especially for the younger guys who haven't been, thrown into something like this. They spend a lot of time throughout camp, outside of our position meetings on their own, just kind of doing like their own homework, going through plays and getting that terminology down.
You're on pace to break some school records this year. Does it mean anything to you to leave this place as maybe the most accomplished statistical receiver they've ever had?
Not really, not right now. Maybe 15 years from now will mean something to me, but I'm just excited to get the season going and hopefully win as many games as we can.